Welcome to Math with Miss Bergstrom. Welcome to your first math video lesson. I know I'm really excited to start posting these for you, doing some review practice and some additional learning for math. So I have a target listed on the board here just so you can kind of see what this video is all about and what you're going to be learning or reviewing. So the target, you can see it says I can understand the decimal place values. This video is going to focus on two skills working with the decimal place value. The first skill is multiply and divide by powers of 10. And the second skill we're going to focus on in this video is write a decimal in standard and expanded form. So we're going to take some notes in our math journal. So if you need to pause the video and grab your math journal, you can open up to your first blank page like we always do. As you're getting that ready, I'm going to flip my camera so you can see my math journal. So first thing we're going to do is write the date. Today is 4/20/20. Okay, and actually what we're going to do today is, well, we'll put the title first, decimal place values. And then we're actually just going to make our place value chart today. So the one we had in class was really helpful for us when we were doing decimals. So if you want to just turn your journal horizontally, and we're going to make some boxes here. So the first box, you can just put a little line going across here. That's going to be our names. So we'll put in our names on the titles of the place values up there. In the next box, we're going to have about the same size. We're going to write the place value in numerical digits there, and then we'll do one more down below. So we'll have a total of 4 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm thinking what we can do is right in the, probably like sort of in the middle, you can just put a line going down, just with like 2 lines. Not a huge deal, doesn't need to be perfect. On the top, we're going to write what we say. So in the middle of a decimal, when we see that decimal point, we say and. Okay, you can put a decimal all the way down. Again, not perfect, just good enough. Okay, we'll give ourselves a little bit of room on the next box. To the left, we have our whole numbers. The first place value you know is the ones place. Next we have the, you guessed it, tens place. Hundreds, and then the last one would be the thousands. Hundreds and thousands. Okay, left, whole numbers, right, you guessed it, would be our decimals. So let's put in our values there. This would be valued at 1,000, hundreds, tens, and then the ones place. And what we did in class is we underlined that place value of what would change. That's the one that would, the digit would change whether it's in that place value. Okay? The nice thing about the decimal place value is that the other side is generally just reverse of the whole numbers. So we're going to kind of cover up the 1 and the and we're just going to copy it over just with a THS at the end. So instead of the tens, it would be the tenths, THS. Okay, we'll add another box here. Next to the tenths, we have the hundredths, THS. I like to underline those so we know that they are separate. And then we will have the thousands, THS. It's nice to recognize patterns when we're learning this, so we'll underline those. And moving over, we're going to show the value in decimal form. So we would have a decimal point right before it and put a 1. Hundredths, decimal point, and then the tenths place and the hundredths place. And the last one, decimal point, 2 place values over, is the thousandths place. Okay, you kind of see how they stem out from the other side. All right, the next one we're going to do is we're going to show in fraction form. So fraction form is just the same for the whole numbers. And then when it gets into the decimal side, it would be whatever the digit is on the top, 1/10 as a fraction. Okay, 1/100th, 1,000th. Okay, and then the numerator would be the one that would change. The denominator stays the same, whatever digit's there. So let's say we have 9 all the way down through, so it would be 9,000, 800. Notice how the zeros stay the same. 70. What's next? We got 6. Moving over, the numerator would change, so it would be 5/10. See how the denominator stays 10, not place value. 4 100ths. 4 changed, and 3 1,000ths. That's just an example. This would be what we call expanded form. So one thing you can try out is pausing the video and try and put that into standard form. So instead of the fractions, you would make it into a decimal. If you want to try that out, you totally can. If not, then don't worry about that so much. Okay. I do have a problem we're going to work on to kind of practice this. So I'm going to put it up in the screen. You can go back and pause if you need some assistance on that. This one will help you understand the place value differences. So it says 2 numbers are shown below. Compare the values of the 7 in the numbers. So looking at the first number and the second number, it looks like we have a whole number side and a decimal side. And I'm actually just going to underline where the 7 is, so you can see it a little bit better. I noticed that they're both on the decimal side, so I'm going to move it over here so you can see the decimals here. We know that when we get bigger on the whole numbers, each place value is times 10 from the previous one, which means when we're going backward, it would be divided by 10. Same thing. The further right it is, the smaller it is. So when we move to the left, it's times 10. Excuse me. And then we move to the left, and it's times 10. Okay, this doesn't have a value, so we'll just do that. Okay, so let's see. We have a digit. It is 1, 2 place values over from the decimal. So put my finger on the decimal here and move over 1, 2. That would be 7/100ths, or the 7 would be the numerator here. So we would have 7/100ths. And then the value over here, it looks like the decimal, and we're moving over 1, 2, 3 place values. So start at the decimal on your chart and move over 1, 2, 3, which would be the thousandths. This would be read as 7,000ths with a THS. Okay, we know that every time it moves to the left, it gets 10 times bigger, which means when I have a digit that's closer to the left than the other one, then this one is 10 times bigger than the 7 here. That doesn't mean the whole number, everything, is 10 times bigger. It just means that that digit moved from here to there, which means that this one is 10 times bigger than that one. Okay? The next thing we're going to do is practice our powers of 10. So if you flip your page, I'm going to do a quick refresher of that. So today, 4-20-20, and we'll review the powers of 10. Okay? Alright, so if we just have 10 to the power of 1, that equals just 10. Alright, you may remember if you have 10 to the power of 2, you're multiplying the base number by how many times the number says in the exponent. So it would be 10, but it would be 10 times 10. 2 times. 1, 2. same as the exponent. Here's another example. You might see the pattern. 10 to the power of 3, you multiply the base number by itself 3 times, which would equal 10 times 10 times 10. Okay? You know that one place value is just 10. So if I'm going to multiply by 10 to the power of 3, it would be moving over 3 place values. Okay, let me give you an example. Let me push this down a little bit. Let's say we have 6 and 79 hundredths. If I want to multiply that by 10 to the power of 2, I'm going to be multiplying by a whole number, which means my answer is going to get bigger by 2 place values. So we're going to rewrite the number. And we're going to move the digits to 2 place values to the left, which means the decimal point is going to move to the right. 1, 2 equals 679. Okay, you can use your place value chart too. We've done this earlier in the year. All right, and let's say we have 6 and 79 hundredths again. But instead of multiplying and getting bigger, we're going to divide. Let's divide by 10 to the power of 2. Okay? Multiply by a whole number, the answer gets bigger. Divide by a whole number, the answer actually gets smaller. So, see where your decimal point is? We're going to move it 2 place values. Let's rewrite the number. The digits are going to be moving to the right, which means the decimal is going to be moving to the left. Go ahead and do that. 1, 2, new decimal point, make it nice and big, and fill the empty spaces with a 0, which equals 0.679, which would be read as 0 and 679 10,000ths, which is your final answer. Okay. That'll be it for our notes, so you can leave that next to you. I have a couple more problems that we're going to work on, and then you can work on this on your own. So I'm going to move it to the side. I'm going to pull up my task cards here so we can go over those. All right, let me zoom in here. See it a little bit better there. Okay, it says determine the number that will complete the number sentence below, then explain your answer. So we're going to do most of this just solving it. So it looks like we have 3,365 divided by something will give us 3 and 365 thousandths. I'm going to encourage you that during these videos, if you want to pause the video and try to solve it on your own, then check. I'm not going to spend time in the video paused so you can do it. So you're going to have to press the pause button on your screen to try it out yourself. I'm just going to show you how to do it. So here's the number we're starting with. What we need to do, since the digits are the same in both the numbers, is we are going to be adding a decimal point, which comes right after the ones place, if it's not already there. Then we need to see, where does the decimal end up in this number? It looks like it's in between the 3 and the 3. So I'm going to need to move my decimal 1, 2, 3 place values there, and it moved to the left, which means the number got smaller. So if I'm dividing, I'm going to have a whole number, 10 to the power of 1, 2, 3 place values. Hope you got that one right. Okay. Next one I have for you, I want you to try to do this one. It says, below is Janice's work on a math problem. Decide if Janice is correct or not and prove your decision. Well, it looks like what she did was she said, well, we're multiplying by 1,000, which has 1, 2, 3 zeros, so I just add 3 zeros to the end. But we know that if it's after the decimal point, those zeros do not change the value of the number. So instead of adding zeros, we would actually need to move our decimal point, multiply by a whole number, the answer gets bigger by 1, 2, 3 place values by 10 to the power of 3. 5 and 69 hundredths. Moving over. 1, 2, 3. Fill with a 0. And the answer becomes a whole number. I would like you to pause the video and decide, why did I not take that 0 away on the final answer? Alright, the last problem I have for you today is just an exit problem here. So go ahead and solve those, and I will write the answers down in just one moment. Alright, this is what you should have gotten. 1 place value. 2 place values. 3 place values. And 4 place values. I hope you got those ones right. Alright, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, please feel to message me on Google Classroom, or we can talk during our Google Meet. So I will see you later.